It's just preparing. Okay.
Jeez.
And
Collapse.
can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. I just don't know what's happening here. Something else has changed. It's really bizarre.
Okay, that should be right now. Yep, that's done.
Yay, it's on. Well done, Julie. Can we all just give Julie a big clap for first time doing live, which is great. And it's yeah, next week we'll get Tina doing it. I saw Tina's on. So well done, Julie.
Fantastic. My slides, for some reason, are not working. So just bear with me. Excuse me. It's coming up, but it's not moving for some reason.
Maybe stop sharing and do it again. Often I
Yeah,
find that.
maybe third time lucky.
Yeah.
Um, see if this will this way. Um, all right, is that working now? Can you see
Yes,
my screen?
we've got you,
Yeah,
Rhonda.
let me see if this is going to work. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone for your patience. So those who don't know me, my name's Rhonda Muller. I'm based up in North Queensland in Mackay, and I've been with LifeVantage for 7 years. And I was just saying to some of the field that when I first started, I was actually really quite reluctant to take a look at this business model because I was just really naive when it came to, the direct sales, network marketing and stuff like that. But what it did for me on a personal level in regards to my energy, like I was totally burnt out. I'm a functional nutritional therapist. I've had a bricks and mortar clinic and working with people, serving from the heart. If I wasn't working in clinic, I wasn't earning. And what I found was that everything just got too much. Life was stressful, always burning the candle at both ends, and major fatigue. Couldn't get into my clinic. I'd have to work from the comfort of my own home. And within 3 days of starting the activators back then in 18th of December 2018, within 3 days, I had my energy back. I felt like I was back in my 20s. And I already knew the science behind everything, but I wasn't quite sure on the delivery. And after I experienced it myself, I just knew I needed to shout it from the rooftops. And it was only within 3 days, but I had pretty much reached out to about 8 of my closest friends and said, please do this with me. I need your honest feedback. And I reached out to some of my clients and I said, again, will you do this with me? I want your honest feedback. And we just ran with it. And the feedback that was coming through, mums, because I predominantly work with women and children, mums who are ready to do a runner because they couldn't cope, their children with pediatric special needs, etc., were just totally stressed out of their brains, were coming back to me within 2 weeks saying, I'm ready. I can implement change for my family. The stress had reduced. So I just knew I was onto something. So yeah, I'm just so grateful for the products, for the science, the robust science, independent science, but also the business model, because if I was not working in clinic, I was not earning. And I can now take a month off without an issue. I've reduced my hours in clinic. I'm only working 2 days a week now instead of 5, 6, 10-hour days, all that kind of stuff. So very grateful, and for the actual collaborative support that we have in this industry is also next level. Okay, so I just want to share now in regards to your wins. So I've got a couple of people that I'm going to call up in regards to what they've noticed for themselves, for their customers, their loved ones, their clients. So first up, I'm not sure if I can see Sue. Sue Watson, are you on the line, darling? Oh, sorry, not Sue. Sorry, Joanne. Fairbrother, are you on the line?
I'm here.
Beautiful. There you go. So, can you just share a couple of wins in regards to what you've noticed, please?
Back in, well, I come across the Healthy Glow Stack basically in November after being a runner and not being able to run for around about 5 to 6 months, and I've been to lots of specialists, went to massage therapist. I have a massage every fortnight. I'm one of those people. But I had needling. I've been to the Cowboys doctors. I had scans. I was told there was nothing wrong with my knee, but I was at a stage that someone who could run easily 10 Ks couldn't even run across the road if the lights turned red. So I'm 56 and I woke up and I thought, is this what old feels like? I literally was in that much pain that I really didn't think I was going to get back to running, let alone being able to run across the road in case of traffic, Anyway, I then started on the Healthy Glow Stack, the NRF2 and the collagen. And I'd had other collagens previously. I actually wasn't even taking it for my knee. I was taking it for just for my overall health and well-being. And I was looking into the products because I'd met Rhonda and I was looking to take it on board for my business sense. But I was blown away that in 2.5 weeks later, I was back to running 1K, 2.5 Ks, 3 Ks. And I just on this weekend, about 2 weekends ago, did 17 Ks back on Magnetic Island, which is trail running, which is what I absolutely love doing it the most. So I went from someone who was told there was nothing wrong with me, and it wasn't in my head. I couldn't even lean down to pick up my grandson. We get eggs out of the chicken coop, right? I was second guessing myself because I had to kneel down on my knee, and that was hurting to someone now that doesn't even really think about it. Now, the funny story is I started with the business and I have been going great guns. I have probably about 30 of my clients now that I've crossed over, and every single person that I speak to have all had really good results. But funny story, my husband was doing this a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "What's wrong with your elbow?" And he goes, "I've had this for like 3 years. I've got a sore elbow." He never complains. He doesn't take Panadol. He's just a blokey bloke, right? And I'm like, I felt really bad because in November I had stopped my knee pain, and then now he's got this elbow. And I said, "Well, out of 1 out of 10, what do you rate it?" He said, "It's consistently a 3. It's been like this forever." And I'm like, okay. So I said, "If I gave you what I was taking, would you take it?" Now he takes nothing. In 10 days' time, he goes, I'm going to say how he actually speaks. "You know that shit that you gave me?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I think that shit's really working." And I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah. My arm is not hurting." And I said, "Are you fair income?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm fair income." Now, this guy still doesn't take Panadol, but every morning I'm seeing an empty container of the collagen. I don't see him take the tablet, but I know he does. But it's sitting there on the kitchen bench. It's like, I've taken it today. And yeah, he has still said, as I said, to this day, after 3 years, I think it was really longer than 3 years that he had it because he just doesn't complain. But anyway, so that's a really 2 good wins in our household. And and I have lots of stories that I can go through, even with clients, that I'm amazed that it's not something that I do as a business sense. I do diet nutrition, but all these people that are coming to me, even through social media, have all had a pain connection. And because I can share my story, it has been so easy to utilize it and blend it in with my business model.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. And yeah, in regards to the husbands not complaining, it's true. They don't. They don't say anything. But yeah, thank you so much. Belinda Wicks, are you on the line? Can you share? Because some of the stories that you were telling me are just insane.
Hey Rhonda, yes I am. I jumped on just in time. Sorry, I'm side of netball court in the dark. So, really quickly, I went back through my messages this afternoon after we spoke to grab out what the ladies were saying to me. So I have a testimonial for the mind body system. My client said, "Hey Belle, 10 days with the mind body, bloating is all gone and I feel like I've shrunk, but I think it's just in my head because there's no weight loss yet." And then she sends me an update and she says, "Just started my second box of mind body. What has definitely changed is my volume of poop. I'm so proud of it." Her bowels were not regular at all, and she had a whole host of problems, and just getting her to poo regularly is a huge, huge win for her. So I was super stoked. And another one of my clients was taking the NRF2 and the Axio. She had a lot of female hormonal issues, lots of brain fog, forgetfulness, those sorts of things, and just general aches and pains. And she says, "Hey, Belinda, just after a few days, I don't have any energy crashes anymore, and I'm sleeping so much better. So thank you so much." And then 2 weeks later, she says, "Hey, Belle, I had my first PT session today after a few weeks, and usually I'm really sore for a few days afterwards. But today I've woken up feeling really good and not as sore as I usually am. Looking forward to what happens in the next month, 3 months, and beyond. Thank you very much."
Yeah, that's
Just
remarkable.
it just warms my heart so much that we have solutions for people, and they work.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to
You-
say it, is that they work. You just
And
have to be brave enough to give something different a go.
I totally agree. And for those who don't know, Belinda is a functional nutritional therapist based on the Sunshine Coast. And she also works a lot with athletes. Do you want to just share Delilah's story, your daughter's story?
Yeah, I can totally. So as Rhonda mentioned, I am a functional nutritionist, and I do have very athletic children. Last year, before state titles for netball, Delilah actually ruptured the ligaments on the outside of her foot, the inside of her foot, and she dislocated her navicular bone on her right foot. She didn't know if she was going to play, but we double dosed her NRF2, and I let her have my collagen. She was very excited about that because that's mummy's and no one's allowed to touch it. But she was having the collagen, and we were also doing the red light therapy that we have at home, and she was back playing in 3 weeks. No, she didn't even want the strapping because she's like, no, it's just annoying. She felt strong and confident enough that she didn't have to have that, which was amazing. This year, that was 2 years ago. Last year for state titles, she actually had a grade 2 tear in her ATF, which is a ligament that runs down the front of your foot. And that was 3 weeks out from state titles. And they were like, oh, it's usually a 4 to 6 week healing period for this type of injury. And she goes, oh, no, we'll see. And we got in the car and she goes, Mum, we're going to do all the things, right? And I said, we totally are, babe. And double dosed her NRF2. She was back on the liquid collagen. And she was back to light training within a week, strapped. And then she played the 2 weeks after that. And the physio could not believe. He just said she's a healing machine.
Yeah.
He was
Beautiful.
amazed. But what I really want to emphasize with that is it was her other ankle. It wasn't the same ankle that she'd done the year before. And I feel like the quality of healing that happens with the NRF2 and the liquid collagen is just second to none, because she has no concerns about re-injuring. She doesn't feel like they're weak. Netballers are typically have ankles and knees injuries. I can be down the courts every weekend and see children as young as 10 all strapped up to the hills with their ankles and ankle braces on. Delilah's never done any of that. And she just said, Mum, I don't feel the need to because I feel confident that everything's good.
Yeah, beautiful.
So,
Thank you so much for sharing.
you're welcome. Thanks so much,
And
Rhonda.
yeah, that's fine. And just quickly before you go, when you say double dosing, you mean take one in the morning, one at night?
Well, Delilah was doing one NRF2 in the morning and one at lunchtime because it does give her a little bit of energy and she finds that it keeps her up at night. So we would just do one when she got home from school.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for clarifying. And just so everyone knows, we do not claim to heal, cure, mitigate, or anything like that. It's just amazing when your body gets the right signals and the right messages of what it could be doing. So yeah, thank you so much, Belle. Love your work. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Is anyone else want to quickly share any wins that they've had in the last week? Anything that they want to just, share with us? I'm not seeing the chat, so I'm not sure if someone's put anything in there or no. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on. So tomorrow night, we've got some events, amazing events coming up. So tomorrow night, myself and Sue Watson will be diving into the latest research in regards to peptides, natural medicine, and healthcare. And it's predominantly the healthy glow stack that we are going to be talking about. So everyone's peptides are just absolutely hot right now. Everyone's talking about it. It's absolutely exploding. We will be talking about how it's like pretty much the million, or I should say $1 billion industry, and how people can actually understand what's going on. So it's in regards to health, recovery, weight, hormones, fertility, aging, yada, yada. But most people are being exposed to injections, quick fixes, left, right, and center. So we're going to be talking about what it is, and I'll be also breaking down, why peptides are gaining so much momentum, but also some of the things that people need to be mindful of, right? So, if they're looking for something in regards to natural approach, whether it's hormones, inflammation, feeling stuck with their health, or, about their weight, or they're simply curious about what options are out there, this is the perfect invite. Hang around towards the end, and I'll give you some key ideas on the messaging of what I'm sending out to people. It's not a hard sell. It's just really, giving people a bit of a heads up on what else is out there. And then we also have Dana on Wednesday. I'm not sure. I've tried to message Dana earlier today. I believe so. It's predominantly women's health, or maybe it's for both, but talking about how people are just doing everything right, but they're not getting results. And I also understand, please correct me if I'm wrong, but she's also going to be talking about lymphatics. And then we have on Thursday, we have Phil, who is also going to be talking about the business opportunity. So it will be 40% product, 60% finance, business opportunity. So anyone that you can think of that wants to talk about their health, their wealth, these events are what you can plug people into. It's just simply sharing what's happening and then go from there. And then next week, I think it's actually, this Saturday, the 9th of May, we have Tara Wilson, who is our executive presidential over in the US. This is going to be 10 a.m. Queensland time, and she's going to be really pouring into you on what it's like when you first start your business, how you can actually pick up the ball, start running, simple messaging, about the products, giving you a bit of an idea of what it's done for her and her family. And then next Tuesday, we have Josie Tong, as well as Vicky Jamison and Sharon Kafora, who will be talking about I'm Fine, women over 40. And again, feeling like they're going round and round in circles, not getting answers. This is going to be a really good one to invite to as well. And then on Thursday, we have the beautiful Lisa Colback. She will be talking about the business. And again, usually that approach, 40% product, 60% the business opportunity, what it can do for you and your family. For example, for me, it's given me that flexibility to be able to taper back my hours in clinic, because if I was not in clinic, I was not earning. Whereas now I can take a month off, 2 months off, whatever, and I'm still bringing in money. So that's always nice. I think that's the goal for a lot of people, right? Okay, so the next thing is communication. So you will notice in our messenger chat, we now have an ANZ collab announcement only messenger chat. And that's where we're going to be putting flyers, any kind of events, etc. It's not for communication. It's not for, oh, that looks great or anything. It's just a thumbs up or a love heart to show that you've seen it. And then we have another one is the ANZ collab chat. That's where you can be asking questions, etc. And then we also have the Facebook group, which is the official LifeVantage consultants of ANZ. So these are pretty much the communication channels that we have in regards to socials. And then we also have the hub. Now, if you haven't looked into this, I highly recommend it. I can see if I can put this into the chat, the link. Let me see if I can find the chat. And I'll just quickly pop that in. So this is where you will find everything for corporate, everything coming in regards to latest news, product promotion, sales, event recognition, training, products, etc. What I want to bring to your attention now is that you can select either the United States or ANZ, right? So we're just focusing on ANZ now and really looking at sales incentives. So you'll find in there all the communications, like what's happening for ANZ. So the corporate calendar, not our ANZ collab team trainings and stuff like that, or events. It's all the corporate stuff. Then there's also additional resources for Mind Body System and the VIP incentive. There's cash on the table for this one. But the promotion snapshot, it lists a whole heap of things that's happening. So that's April. They'll update it for May as well. But just leading in, we have the Mother's Day, the hand cream. If you're not using this hand cream, I actually ask you why not, because this is NRF2 activated. They've crushed up that NRF2 tablet, put it into a paste because they were putting it on skin conditions, and then turned it into a skincare. So the facial products as well as the hand cream. My husband applies this, no joke, typical redhead. He applies this on his arms every day. He was a champion swimmer, champion, played for Australia in the army for rugby league, rugby union. So lots of skin damage. His dermatologist was gobsmacked because the skin issues all disappeared. I kid you not. So it's not just for the beautiful women in your life, but yes, this is your opportunity to really just go for leather and just buy in bulk. They make beautiful gifts for Mother's Day. You buy 2 and get 1 free, but they're also great for your customers. They're great for your teamies. They hit a new rank, send them a hand cream. Beautiful for winter coming into the colder months. There's just so many uses, you know, birthday presents, stock up for Christmas, whatever. Then we have the 20% off the Mind Body System. This is what Belinda was talking about. Her client who was feeling like she wasn't getting bloated and she feels like she's shrinking, but the scales weren't changing. Yeah, I hear these stories all the time. And then we've got the Passport to Bali. So this is where you can actually qualify to receive an actual trip over to Bali. And then we've got the Achievers Retreat. So this is, you know, a whole host of other things in regards to cash incentives and Achievers rewards, yada, yada. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time with that. Now, just before I finish up, I just want to say a shout out to these amazing women. We've got Jade Morris here, who actually pushed out of her comfort zone. This is her exhibiting at her gym. They had an open house, like an expo, where they had health professionals and a whole host of other people at their gym. And she went in there and talking about how these products are helping her, but also in regards to her, because she's a fertility coach, and what she's seen in regards to the science and her clients. It's absolutely extraordinary. So give a shout out to Jade. She's also hit a new rank of Onyx. And so that gives her an extra 5% commission. Then Josie had an event, an in-home event in Sydney as well. Look what she did with the collagen bottles. Instead of throwing them out, she's recycled them, took the labels off them, and she's put some beautiful flowers in them. And then she also had some beautiful little gift bags as well with collagen and little flyers. And then we have Joanne, like she was just sharing her story about her knee and her husband, Andy's elbow. She was also exhibiting at her gym, yeah, sharing her story. And then she was also showing people what she was doing in her home. Well, it was actually a mum's home. And that's a terrible photo of me. Thank you, Joanne. But I actually drove up to Townsville and did a presentation showing, because Joanne just started. So she had no idea what she was doing. She was just enthusiasm on fire, sharing her personal story. And I did the presentation. This is what consultant events can look like. So if you want to do something like this, reach out to your sponsor, to your upline, and they can help you do the same thing. Okay, so that's pretty much us. Thank you so much. I just wanted to share really quickly in regards to what I'm saying to people when I'm inviting them to these events. So, for example, I'm reaching out to every single one. I'm doing lives. I'm sharing information about collagen, anyone that's commenting on the before and afters and all that kind of stuff. But anyone that's I'm talking to, you know, like they've got knee problems or inflammation or whatever, and I say, oh, Gráinne, you know how you were saying Fletcher's back was really sore? There's an event coming up tomorrow night, and I really think you guys might find it really valuable. Let me know if you want to take a look. It might be for you, it might not. No biggie either way, but the way I see it, you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. because I know Fletch wants to get off those hardcore meds. That's it. You're talking to people, you're listening to their pain points, and you're serving from the heart. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're just trying to let them know. You know how you were saying your knee was hurting the other day, Joanne? Check out this event. You know, this woman, she's been using and recommending peptides and liquid collagen and all these different natural solutions for over 7 years. She's been in clinic as a functional nutritional therapist since 2009. It might be worth listening in on. Let me know if you want the Zoom details. It starts at 6 p.m. That's it. Yeah.
Rhonda, can I ask a question? So tomorrow night, are you going to be talking about peptides or what they are, or about our peptides that are in the collagen? Or because I know peptides is the big buzzword.
Yeah, 100%. All of the above. All of the above. So I'll be talking about the difference between peptides and hormones. I'll be talking about what peptides are and the synthetic versions and the risks, the things that I'm concerned about as a health professional. So don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for big pharma medications, but there's also real concerns for me in regards to using these things long term. And there's a lot of people out there that they don't know where to go. Knowledge is power. And all we're doing is giving them a smorgasbord of information and they can pick and choose. Yeah. So I will be mainly focusing on the Healthy Glow. I'll touch a little bit on the mind body in regards to peptides, GLP-1. But yeah, the real point of difference in between forcing a synthetic peptide into your body compared to activating and making your own peptides. Yeah. That's what I'll be really touching on. And then Sue is going to be coming in and talking about her story. She's also going to be talking about her husband's story. And then I think, I'm not sure if that lady is on here. So Sue's new consultant as well. I think Sue was going to be sharing her new consultant, how she was on it. Was it for a month, Sue? I can't remember. And then she had to stop because she's going in for surgery. And now she feels like she's gone back downhill and like, holy dooly, cannot wait to get on the activators again. So yeah, that's what I'll be sharing about tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to it because there's so many people out there that are just so desperate for information and they really don't know where to go. And all we're doing is we're teaching them to be a librarian. We're putting information in front of them and they can pick and choose, take it or leave it. If they know you, they like you, they trust you, then potentially they're going to be open to taking a look. If not, that's okay. You're planting the seed. Yeah, because the work we're doing now, talking to people now, will potentially start to flick in a month, 2 months, 3 months. It may take longer. I had a gentleman who started 2 months ago on the Healthy Glow, him and his wife, and they've been watching me for over 7 years. I kid you not. And I've known them for over 30 years. They know who I am. They know what I do. Yeah. They've referred clients to me, but they've only just got started on the activators. They've just got to be ready. So if people if you're sharing stuff on your socials and you're not getting a lot of engagement, rest assured, people are still watching you. And one thing I've noticed, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but I'm getting very limited likes or comments. I'm getting a ton of messages. People are messaging me instead of commenting on my posts about products, about the service that I offer. It's like, well, maybe it's a privacy thing. They don't want other people to know. But don't be disheartened if you're not getting or feeling like you're not getting that traction. How are we going for time? We're just about done. Was there any questions in the chat, Josie or Grania, that we need to go over?
No, I haven't seen any.
Okay. Phil, were you on from the beginning? Do you want to, I'm not sure if you can share a little bit about Wednesday's event.
Yeah, I can. I'm going to touch on the business and I'm going to dive in the numbers quite quickly and briefly, but I want to try to leave it open for questions there afterwards. because I don't want to do like a whole big education session. Just want to skim across it and then it's open for questions, because I think most of your magic happens after the meeting. So that's when I put the energy there. So
Yeah,
it might be
beautiful.
like 20 minutes or so, and then 10, 15 minutes for questions.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
that's your Thursday event. What about the Wednesday event?
That's Dana's. My understanding with that, she's going to touch on lymphatics, and you definitely covered what you said, covered it.
Oh,
She's
good.
going to
Thank you.
focus where the link is between collagen and oxidative stress with lymphatics, how it's linked together. And she'll talk a bit about how it influences her practice as well.
Yeah, love it. Very good.
Cool.
Very good. All right, Josie,
I
Rhonda,
just-
would you like to close out with anything?
Yeah, just with Lisa. So Lisa, you got somebody who quit after a month of taking Protandim. So what I usually do before they even start, I'm trying to send it, but it's over 1,000 words, whatever characters. You know how we have that, how long it takes to take Protandim, NRF2? The doctor who created the little yellow pill states that you try the Protandim. So I usually send them this or tag them into the post. We've got a post in My Life Vantage Story. So I explained to them, do you know how long it takes for someone to have diabetes or someone to develop XYZ? It takes years in the making because your cells take time to regenerate. That's why this is what the doctor, we say the doctors who formulated this said to do. And so most people, I learned this from Big Al, the word most people. So most people, because they understand this, they take it. I know somebody myself, it took her 4 months before she even felt the difference. So you need to find those stories. So when people know, it's not like taking Panadol. And then I'd say, does that make sense? And they'd say yes. And that's why, do you think $77 a month would be worth it to give it a try for the next 9 months, whatever? So yeah, have that if you explain that. I don't know, what else do people do when you have someone that's new?
Yeah,
Yeah, Josie, I did that. I put them in all the posts. I sent them all the information. I'm extremely thorough, but they refused. They said we need quick results. We're very sick, and all that. So and they weren't prepared to get onto the Healthy Glow Stack or the NRF1 added to it either, because they said they just couldn't afford that amount of money a month. So they were just after a quick fix, like an overnight fix. So I did what I could, and they went that direction. So I just let them go.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen. You can't help everyone. You just got to, sometimes you just have to say, do your best you can do, and money can be an option, but we can't help everyone. As long as you've given them all the information, you've given your best information out there, they might come back later on. You just never know. Don't stress.
Yep, that's right. Exactly. No, not stressing. It's what it is. And
it's sad. It is sad. I've had the same thing with some of mine, but sometimes you just have to allow people to do their own journeys, and that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Lisa, a tip that I can share with you there, I've had that happen as well with people, and because it is a financial thing, because a lot of times when you speak to people, they think, oh, there's something extra I've got to take. So I do something called the supplement switch, where I say, what else are you taking? Let's look at that. And then I can analyze. And when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, you can see what other things that NRF2 and NRF1 can replace. And I remember Dr. Nancy would say, NRF2 does a function of about 80 to 100 supplements. So I use it all the time, because I always say to people, we don't want to make you spend a lot of money doing this, but we want to get your health back on track. What else are you doing? And go from there. So you can go back again with that.
Okay. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for that.
Does everyone have the health and health questionnaire? Does everyone send a questionnaire to every brand new customer to really be able to track and measure their starting baseline? Because I really do recommend that, because then you can check in with them once a fortnight or so. But I understand, Lisa, some people just want the quick fix, and I totally get that. But if you can refer back to them, check in once a fortnight or so for 10 to 15 minutes, and they've written everything out, what it's like on their worst day. Okay, when they're dragging their feet, they've got no energy, or their bowels aren't working, like Belinda was saying, yeah? that lady, her bowels were not regular, whatever it might be, their pain. And then you go in and say, okay, well, let's get a bit of an idea. How are you feeling today compared to that? Because some people may not be really even in tune with how they're feeling because they've got so much going on. My mother was one of them. She was on the products for a couple of months and she rang me and she said, stop sending me the products, save your money. It's not working. And that was at 1:30 in the afternoon. I was in clinic and I said, I'm sorry, I was in with the client. I said, it's my mother. I need to take this call because it's probably an emergency. She's normally sleeping now. And I answered the phone. I said, hey, Mum, is everything okay? And she said, yeah, I don't have time. I'm off to water aerobics. I just wanted to let you know, save your money, darling. These products are not working. Don't send them to me anymore. And, and I said, okay, so everything's okay? And she said, yeah. And I said, right, but you're telling me you're off to water aerobics and the products aren't working. And she's like, oh, okay. I'm off my antidepressants too. And I went, when did that happen? She said, oh, I stopped them 2 weeks ago. And I went, well, you probably shouldn't stop it cold turkey. But okay. She said, well, okay, brother, the products are probably working. Okay, thank you. I love you. Bye. Serious. Right. So not everyone is really in tune with what's happening in their body. And it's just nice if you can get that base point of the foundation of how they're, and then you can refer, well, what are these pain points like now? Okay. All right. I'll call it a night unless there's any other questions. Josie, Grania?
Yeah, so I just, after Joanne has shared about the quiz and then you gave the answers, I got a questionnaire. So I do now. Thank you for the sharing that. So I've got a JOT form and I get people to fill up a questionnaire online. They put their details and everything. And then Sue already has uploaded a PDF there as well. So
that PDF's the one Rhonda's talking about that I just
Yeah.
grabbed out of the Saga app. So it's a PDF if anyone wants to try and grab that and save it to their files before this chat shuts.
yeah.
It's a really handy one.
I will upload it into boards.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really handy. And especially if you're using, the Fraser Brooks questions, which I've then expanded on, you've established what their pain points are. So then you can go through that questionnaire with them. And that really beds down why they're trying to be, why they're on the products. And then we can then make sure, okay, well, Rhonda, you're turning 57 this year. You need to give it a minimum of 6 months. You've got to be realistic. Yeah. Because it's going to take time for those survival genes to come back into balance. But anyway, we've gone over time. I thank you all for your time.
Just letting you know that what to expect and that health and wellness are both now up in boards, under support, under Pro Tandem.
Legend.
They're in there. And sorry, I can't do it in the morning. I'm actually on a course. So I'll put it in our announcements. But yeah, I can't do my boards in the morning. Sorry, everyone. I'm on a course from 10.